Hey everybody, welcome to Asagao Academy. I hope I'm saying it right and not completely butchering the living crap out of it. But this game was recommended to me by my wife, and here I am playing a dating game. I have never played a dating game in my life. The train made its way along the gentle curve of the coast of Japan, whisking me farther and farther from home. Across from me sat a boy, face half buried in a newspaper. He was deeply entranced in whatever article he was reading, and hadn't spoken a single word to me, even when I asked if I could join him in the last compartment with any available space. He shrugged, nodded, and adjusted his newspaper without ever making eye contact. It had been almost an hour. In fact, he hadn't once looked at me. Devoid of conversation, I took instead to counting the buttons on the pretentiously lush Carmen seat cushions, 1, 2, 3, 21, 22, and so forth over and over. How bored do you have to be? It's a magical train, is it not? Now and again I turned to look at out the window where the trees were blurring by. Sometimes the smeared green would break and reveal a quiet blue of the Sea of Japan. Eventually, this rapidly made my stomach churn, and I went back to counting the buttons on the seat cushions. 1, 2, 3. The train compartment shuddered around us. My eyes wandered to the boy in his jacket. It wasn't the school-issued blue that I and the other students on the train were wearing. Instead, it was a green varsity-like jacket with embroidered patch poorly sewn on the front. Oh, is that Jared? So just so you know, this is all about a game or a dating simulator for the people at Normal Boots. I only know a few of them, but I said, you know what, why not? Let's have some fun. So, you're a first year then? He folded his newspaper neatly and set it in his lap and looked at me with a half-interested gaze. Did you just catch me staring? Now that the newspaper was gone, I saw his face. He watched me through heavy-lidded eyes. His hair was immaculatingly groomed, his teeth straight and blindingly bright. There was something about him, the way the light hit him, that made him look like he was almost sparkling. Me? Oh, I'm a girl in this game. Oh, me? He glanced around the compartment, empty beside us, and laughed. Oh, no, I'm not a first year, I'm a third year. The train began to slow, metal wheels groaning against the metal tracks. The sudden shift threatened to rob me of whatever was left of my stomach, but I closed my eyes and took a deep breath, willing myself to keep it together. What kind of impression would I leave puking on a student before I even arrived at the academy? Oh, you would make a great impression. Everyone would hate you, though. The boy frowned. I picked at the hem of my cotton shirt. That's not possible. I've never seen you before. It took me a moment of mouth fishing to find a response. It's because I'm a transfer student. He laughed again. Oh, you silly, dim-witted girl. That's not part of the text. A transfer student, huh? We don't get many of those. I removed my acceptance letter from the front of my pocket uniform. The paper, heavyweight, off-white. I had accumulated creases from my reading, as if the words might have changed since the last time I read it. The boy took it, studied it, and handed it back to me.
I'll see you around.
Oh. Why does this have only partial voicing? Oh, well, I guess it gives me more time for me to practice reading. Well then, Hannah, I suppose I'll be seeing you around. See you around. He smiled at me, and he picked up the suitcase lying next to him. By the time I had hiccuped a response, he was already gone from the compartment. Oh no! Don't make a fool of yourself. I stared out into the empty hallway of the train. It was then that I realized he had gotten it from my acceptance letter. He knew my name, and I never got his. The train settled at the station, and I filed out with the rest of the uniformed students. It was early April. The last frost of winter had come and gone. The trees were already green, their leaves shivered in the occasional gust weaving through them. The air was mild, only a few clouds hanging in the sky. I walked along the road with a swarm of blue-jacketed bodies looking at the little groups breaking off from the crowd. Everyone was buzzing so animatedly around me. I held my suitcase tight in my sweaty hands. It was leather-bound and worth more than anything it contained. It wasn't far to the school, and I was. It wasn't far to the school, and I was, for maybe the first time in my life, thankful that what I owned didn't amount to much. My school issued black Oxford clicked. Wait, Oxfords? Oh, are those shoes? Okay, I was very confused there for a second. My school issued black Oxfords clicked on the pavement. I walked this walk over and over in my mind. So many lights. I lay awake, imagining what it would be like to walk from train station to Asagao Academy for this first time. My new starts. I always imagined that everything would change for me on this walk. That somehow everything would be magically different. But as I looked around, I realized nothing had changed. That's kind of how college is, kids. When you transfer from high school to college, nothing is different. Except for nobody knows you. It hadn't changed. By the time I reached the massive gate to the academy, I forgot all about the disappointment slouching in the back of my throat. The school, framed by the gate's twisted black metal, was just as beautiful as the glossy photos I saw in its pamphlets. This was it. Asagao Academy. I glanced around the swarm of students gathering around the gate. Beyond it, tiny blue people bounced around the academy's main building. A girl pressed a button on the side of the gate. The excitement in the air was almost palpable. A few moments later, the black gate, with great effort, creaked outwards and cleared the pathway. As the rest of the group shifted into motion, I followed along, a sheep in the herd. My stomach tied itself into knots. The crowd split off in different directions for a moment. I panicked. And there's an old man! Hello, sir! A tired-looking man with graying hair called out for first years. A cluster of fresh-faced students gathered around him. Hey, look at that girl! I turned. A few feet away, a small group of boys were pointing at me and snickering. Pink hair? Are you kidding me? How desperate can you get? What's the voice of tall boy, posh boy? I don't even know what posh sounds like. But hey, that's not cool! My wife has rainbow hair! There's nothing against that. Hot shame crawled down my neck. I attached myself to a group of girls following a few steps behind them. In the distance, cicadas hummed in time to my shoes crunching against the gravel. My hair... It wasn't my fault my hair looked like this. Luckily, wait, it wasn't your fault? Were you born with pink hair? Because that sounds awesome! Luckily, I found myself at the girls' dormitory, a large sign in the lawn reading Primrose House. The building dwarfed me in size and sheer intimidation. How many students did Asagao have? Oh, so this is a boarding school. As I approached the building, a red-headed girl lingering nearby caught my attention. Oh, hi. Yeah, I'm a girl in this game. I can't say that. That sounds way too creepy for me. I'm totally sorry. I looked away, then looked back. She was staring at me. She walked over. Okay, I have to put my mind in the introvert, not the extrovert. Yes! Maybe! I don't know who you are. Luckily, I don't have to read that part. I eyed her waringly. She was smiling and bouncing in a way that suggested her views on life were akin to a perpendicular bouncy castle.
What?
Me? No!
Bingo.
What do you want? Of course, you silly. Let me guess. Room 325. I thought back to the paper I received a month prior with a list of all the supplies I needed for the year and my dorm arrangements. Yeah, that's right. She laughed. Wait, how did she know what I look like? She laughed, but I couldn't figure out what was so funny. Was she laughing at me? No, don't be silly. When I found out my roommate was a transfer student, I knew you were going to be a total main character. Yeah! Yeah! I'm sorry. A what? Mm-hmm. When I saw you outside the gate, I knew it was you. I mean, look at that hair! I felt a lump forming in my throat. What was she talking about? She had to be making fun of me. I had spent more than 5 minutes on campus. I was starting to be mocked. My hands began to tremble. Is there something wrong with my hair? Her face slacked from its amused smile to a more worried expression. Then she began to laugh again. No, it's great. I'm sorry.
Sorry, we're getting off on the wrong foot, aren't we? Oh gosh.
Those are my lines. I'm supposed to be reading for you. We're getting off on the wrong foot, aren't we? I'm Mai Sasuke. You must be Hannah. I bowed my head.
Hello.
It's nice to meet you, Mai. All your school books are waiting in our room with your welcome letter, and I read the envelope. You read my mail? I hope you're not mad. Mai started walking through the dorm's front doors. I followed behind like a lost puppy. Did you check it at the front desk already? No, I didn't. I didn't know I was supposed to. Good. They'll offer to have a staff member give you a tour of the campus, but I can show you around. We don't get many transfer students in a year 3, you know. Oh, is that your only bag? Just the one? I'm glad I brought an extra bag of stuff to decorate our room with. I started already. I hope you don't mind. I love decorations. They're fine. They're fun. But I did wait to streak the lights. I thought we could do it together, you know. Oh, that's awesome. Yes, please. She spoke quickly, the words bubbling from her mouth, and left me no time to answer until the end of her monologue. Yeah, okay, that sounds good. But she held the front door open for me, and I hurried inside. Girls filed up and down the hallway, howling greetings and exchanging vague niceties that were more often than not, "How was your break?" and "Look how tan you got." It seemed like everyone knew each other. I followed Mai as she led me through the maze of students and up to 2 flights of stairs. Each dorm floor looked the same as the last. Narrow white doors lining both sides of the pale pink walls. Thin gold numbers were tacked onto the front of each. The numbers were rising as we climbed. You're not missing anything with the campus tour, I promise. Mr. Saint-Mo, just Saint Mo, let's just go with that, does them every year, and he's like totally dull. But he just drags you around the entire campus and talks in that weird squeaky voice of his. You mean mine? I'm sorry. I'll tell you everything you need to know. I smiled, trying to let this calm my nerves. Thanks. We headed down a hallway on the 3rd floor. Mai stopped us in front of a door numbered 325. Here we are! A faint smell of poopery wafted through the room. The walls, like hallway, were soft, powdery pink. What's up with all the boy... Oh man, the boy posters. I already defaced them with tapestry posters to magazine cutouts and photographs. Some of the photos of cats, but most of them were male models and rugged musicians. Oh my. A bunk bed, 2 writing desks with wooden chairs, a small dresser, and a mirrored vanity, all clearly provided by the school and were the only pieces of furniture in the tiny room. The top bunk was already covered in neatly tucked blankets and throw pillows in clashing patterns and colors. The bottom bunk had a single, stiff-looking pillow and thin cotton blanket. I didn't need to touch to know how horribly itchy I must have grimaced because Mai quickly smiled at me. I brought way too many pillows and blankets. I always overpack. I went over to Italy for break and Mom got really mad at me because I bought 5 bags, but we were only there for a week. How do you do that? Oh my goodness. She laughed, pulled several blankets and pillow from her bunk, and rearranged them neatly on mine. A sudden twinge of guilt and embarrassment hit me.
Perfection.
There, that's much better. Thanks, I placed my suitcase on the bottom bunk and began to unpack its contents. Several changes of clothing, pens, pencils, empty notebooks, a few photographs of my father, a stuffed rabbit, an old portable radio, and a small black box. Well, I have my own cuddly friend with me here today. Her name is Floof. She's my packer. I opened the curtains and the sunlight poured in. So, where are you from? I slid the now empty suitcase under the bottom bunk. About 2 hours north of here. It's a small town called Amaririsu. You probably haven't heard of it. I set the stuffed rabbit, Mr. Bunny, on my bed side, on my bed, on my bed beside a purple and teal throw pillow. Man, I can't read. Oh, did you go to a different boarding school? Or, no, I went to a public school down the street from my house. Public schools suck! Public school? What was that like? Were the students mean? Yes. Did you have a lot of friends? No. I always went to private schools. My parents worked a lot and my dad goes to overseas. So I think they stuck me here for convenience. That kind of happens. Oh, hey, what's that? I removed an ordinary pattern origami crane from the black box. I was setting it on the unclaimed writing desk. Oh, this? My mom made it for me a long time ago. I set it beside a stack of thick textbooks, which I assume were provided for me. Aww, wow, it's so pretty. I never seen paper like this before. You mean you never seen paper? Oh yeah, the lights, let me get them. Mine went to her own desk, opened the drawer, and pulled out a long tangled string of fairy lights. I thought these would look nice. Here, help me string them up. She grabbed a container of pushpins and pulled her wooden desk chair out and over to one wall. I did the same with my own. Together we pinned the lights around the perimeter of the room. How was the train ride over? Did you meet anyone? No, not really. There was a compartment with some guy and, some guy? Huh? Was he cute? Oh, yeah, I guess. I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention. I didn't even get his name. My eyes seemed disappointment for a moment, then perked back up. You'll have to point him out when you see him again. Okay. So that's actually going to have to do for the first episode. I'm kind of enjoying this game. I have never played a dating game in my life, so this might be something new for me to try. Woo! Or should I say, woo! Okay, there we go. That's better. That's more enthusiastic. There we go. So, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Please like, subscribe, leave me a comment. I'll be reading them and responding. And I will be seeing you later. Well, the first part was so fun, and now I'm just ahead in space, just killing myself. Maybe I'm just trying out these rockets for science. He wants more? He ate all of my stock!
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
It's important, I swear.